So utilizing CTS, measuring undercarriage, helps to eliminate downtime, better forecasting, better planning, and bundling services when they're due for a machine. This helps the customer to reduce their owning and operating costs. So measuring an undercarriage helps the dealer for two reasons. One, to give an indicator to the customer when they're going to need to replace their undercarriage, and two, it helps the dealer plan better for availability.
Overall, to do a full undercarriage measure up, it would take about a half an hour. You need to have the UWI-5, which is the ultrasonic tool to measure, and calipers, a depth gauge, tape measures, ruler, wire brush to clear off any debris off the track rails, rollers, or idlers if there's mud on them. It's pretty easy to get it done depending on the environment you're in. When I go up to a machine to do an undercarriage measurement, I'll first check for warm joints, do a visual overlook of the machine, see if there's anything obvious that I can point out right away or maybe take a picture of. And then after that, I'm going to collect the hours on the machine to see how many hours it's been since the last inspection and look over the job site, see if the conditions have changed. And then I would jump into getting my string out and bringing it over the top of the track and running it down so that way I could measure the track sag. Find the two lowest points in the track and measure those and combine them and divide them by 2 to figure out what the overall track sag is on the machine. After that, I would go into the internal wear and see how much of the chrome is showing on the track adjuster and see how far the track adjuster's out. And then I would jump into measuring the track link with the ultrasonic. After that, I would go into measuring the bushing, and I typically will measure the same bushing as what I did on the same track link. I would move on to the idlers. I would use a depth gauge. You want to lay the bar on the top of the tread and measure down to the idler, and then trying to find how much wear is on that, and then you have to manually enter that number. So when measuring the track shoe, you want to move in 1/3 of the distance of the shoe and measure on top of the grouser down through the grouser. So on the carrier roller, D8 through D11, you can use the ultrasonic to measure that. But D7 and lower, we highly recommend using calipers to measure the wear on that. And after you get the spacing of the thickness of the carrier roller, then you would measure it with a ruler to see how many millimeters it is. When measuring the track roller, you want to start from the front left and work your way back. And if there's any guides or guards in the way, you would skip that and make a note of it in your inspection, and then work your way until you got to the last roller. When measuring the final component on the machine, it would be the sprocket segment, and you're going to measure across 3 of the teeth there on the same segment and with a tape measure, and then manually enter that number in. So after measuring one side of the machine, you would replicate those same steps on the opposite side of the machine.
So when you're all done taking your measurements, this helps generate a report that can ultimately give to your customer to help them understand what's going on with their undercarriage from a wear perspective. It helps build loyalty, customer service between the customers and the dealers.